Hey everybody, I'm Faxon, and I'm here today to answer your guys' questions that you asked me for my FAQ video. Alright, so I'm just gonna jump in and start answering questions right away. Okay, so what inspired you to start cosplaying? I was in high school, and my friends and I were starting to read manga and watch anime and stuff, and then we just kind of stumbled upon it on the internet, and we were like, hey, we want to do this. So we just started throwing together random articles of clothing, being like, hey, look at me, I'm wearing an orange sweater, I'm Naruto. Believe it. And it just kind of escalated from there, and we started doing it more and more, and bam, here I am. How do you stay motivated either in the middle of a tricky cosplay or just in general when it's not con season? Well, I do a couple of things. I either watch or read the series that I'm cosplaying from, so I keep excited about it. I look up tutorials on different methods if I get stuck, so I can see the ways that other people have done them, and then I also look up other cosplays to see how other people did other things, and then a lot of times I'll get really nitpicky about details, like a seam will be a quarter centimeter off and I'll start freaking out and thinking that I'm the worst sewer in the history of the world and that I should be flogged and drawn and quartered. But then I'll look up a picture of a cosplay and I'm like, hey, their cosplay is really good, and not all of their seams are accurate, so why would anyone care if I have an inaccurate seam? Calm down. It's gonna be okay. The character you have had the most fun wearing and acting and when you didn't enjoy very much, least favorite. So the character that I probably have the most fun in is Sora, just because I feel like I can really kind of be myself. I get really excited about wearing that cosplay. I'm really proud of the different versions that I've done. I just really like his genial personality, and usually people are really friendly to me when I'm dressed as Sora and really enthusiastic, and it gets me really pumped up. One cosplay I really didn't enjoy physically wearing was Twilight Princess Zelda, which I did in 2012, mostly because I made the armor really uncomfortable, and carrying it around on my shoulders all day just I felt like I was being stabbed. It was really not fun. Even though they were really light, just the way that they kept falling apart, it made my shoulders ugh. My gender bent Ryuko from Kill la Kill, I really liked that costume, but we did a photo shoot at Katsucon outside when it was negative a million degrees, and we were out there for 45 minutes, and I thought that my nipples were gonna crack and fall off. That wasn't fun. I usually don't really like cosplaying things that I'm not familiar with, things that I'll do for a group but that I don't really know that well. For example, Joey Wheeler from Yu-Gi-Oh! So when I was Joey Wheeler, I was never much of a Yu-Gi-Oh! Kid, I'll admit. I was more Sailor Moon, Inuyasha, Yu Yu Hakusho. But I was doing it for a group, and so people would get really excited when they saw Joey Wheeler, and they would come up to me and start talking to me either in character or asking me questions in character, and so I would just kind of stand there and be like, yep, Heart of the Cards, Brooklyn Rage, that's me. It's always easier when I know the character better, that's for sure. What is on your cosplay bucket list? The thought of a cosplay bucket list is really interesting. It's who do you want to cosplay before you die? It's kind of gruesome. Currently I have a very short list. I really want to give Nausicaa a crack again because I did that a long time ago and it was really bad because I didn't really know how to sew, so I'd like to do that and do it justice. I'd like to cosplay Genos from One Punch Man. I think that would be fun. I want to cosplay Pavi from Repo. One day I want to cosplay Leaf from Del Toro Quest because I was really into that book series as a kid, and then I found out that an anime existed. So just for old time's sake, I'd like to try that. I want to cosplay Moroku from Inuyasha. That's all I can really think of right now. What is your favorite anime and how did you get into cosplay? Okay, so my favorite anime changes kind of depending on what I've watched recently. The animes that have always been good and that I've always really liked, no matter how many years it's been since I've watched them. Death Note, Yu Yu Hakusho. Yeah. But right now I really like Tokyo Ghoul. Ooh, and I'm really into Death Parade. I just saw that too. That's good. Do you cosplay Homestuck? I have before. I was never really into it that much. I just really liked Tavros because I'm a Taurus and I empathized with his character, so I did like a winter version of Tavros, his regular outfit, and then I also did Rufio. How do you overcome the fear of cosplaying another gender, like in your Chobits video? I don't, because I don't really have one. It's not really a fear. Sometimes I can get like a little uncomfortable. It's usually okay if I'm at a con and like I'm surrounded by friends because people aren't really like creepy. People have never really been inappropriate to me in crossplay. If it's a character that I really like, then I really don't give a flying like whatever. They're all make-believe characters anyway, so gender doesn't really bother me. I like the way that this question is phrased. How do you shave to get such a soft-looking surface for cosplay? Hell, do you even shave for cosplay? Tell me your secrets. Okay, this is complicated. So, if we're talking about face, I used to shave my eyebrows down, but then I just hated that. I hated that so much, so I cover it with glue instead. It took me a really long time to figure out how to do a method that works. I have links to like makeup tutorials where I go over how I do my eyebrows. If you're just talking about like my face, I just shave it with like a razor and shaving cream. It's pretty self-explanatory. Now we're talking about legs. That's a different story. So I have very hairy legs. Not only does it take 7 razors, 2 hours, and 3 friends to shave me from the waist down, but then it takes about 3 months for my hair to grow back. So I really hate that. I really hate that. So I used to shave for that, and then it just got so grueling that I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to do it anymore. Then I posted this picture for like a cosplay contest where I was cosplaying Sora, and I didn't have my legs shaved in the photos, and like a bunch of the comments were just these like really disgusted people that were like, Sora doesn't have hair on his legs. Like, that's disgusting, you know? And, you know, clearly a young teenage boy wouldn't have hair anywhere, right? But still, you know, whatever. I don't really care. But I was like, I mean, I see what you mean because it's Square Enix, like all of their characters are porcelain Ken dolls with no imperfections, and I guess hair is included in that. So what I started doing is I wore 3 pairs of opaque tights over each other. So when I put on my Sora cosplay, before I put it on, I put on 3 pairs of tights. I've been told that I can just wear like dance tights and that will cover my leg hair, but I had a CVS near me and they don't sell dance tights there, so I just picked them up before the con and those are what I've been wearing. And they do make you look quite silky smooth for cosplay. So yeah, that's my shaving stories. And by the way, that comment about 2 hours, 7 razors, and 3 friends to help you shave, that is based on a true story. So I'll let you ponder that. Do you do wig commissions? Okay, so this is probably the comment that I get most out of anything that anyone asks me. It's a little bit complicated. Yes, I do wig commissions. No, I'm not taking them right now, and I don't know when I'll be taking them again. Long story short, I'm dealing with a lot of health issues right now, and part of those issues gives me really bad pain in my hands, and so where I used to be able to like knock off a couple wig commissions every month, I haven't really been able to do that lately, and even doing like really simple things around the house is usually really strenuous and painful for me, so I just don't really have the stamina to take on wig commissions right now. I do plan on taking them up again at some point, I just don't know when that will be. When I do take them up again though, I will post on all my social media sites that I'm taking them up again, including my website, faxandcosplay.com. Do you intend on coming to Brazil? I haven't planned it, but I love travel. I want to travel all over the place. Talk to your cons. If your cons want me there and I get invited and I can get like free plane trip there, then yeah, I'll totally come. In all seriousness, I would love to go to cons around the world, so if I had the opportunity to do so, then why not? What do you like the most in cosplay? The costume, styling the wig, the makeup, wearing it, photo shoot, conventions, and will you come to a French convention someday? So for the French convention thing, see the previous question about Brazil. So my favorite part of the cosplay has to be either wig styling or photo shoots. I really do like the makeup too, but see, I love doing makeup so much more than I love wearing it. I really hate wearing makeup, it's awful. Yeah, I love styling the wig, and I love like the photo shoots and editing the photos. Have you had any bad cosplay experiences, i.e. being inappropriately hit on at a con? Alright, so, you know, who doesn't have bad cosplay experiences when you've been doing it for a number of years? But in terms of being hit on at a con, I have an interesting story there. So, it was Kineticon. I was dressed as Joe from Burst Angel, which is not only a crossplay, but it's a very sexy, scantily clad crossplay. So there I was, going to the con, and I was all alone. So I really loved this character, and I was excited, but I was nervous about, you know, being inappropriately hit on. Go through the entire day, and have absolutely no problems. Nobody bothers me. The next day, however, I go to the con, dressed as Jafar, the evil royal vizier from Aladdin, a children's cartoon. And I'm just standing there minding my own business, and someone walks up behind me and grabs my ass. Then I turn to him, and being mostly kind of in shock and confused, all I can manage to say is, "Hey, you gotta ask the cutie before you touch the booty." And then he turns to me and says, "No, you gotta hit on it, then spit on it." So that was probably the most bizarre instance of being hit on at a con ever. Moving on. What's the best and worst part of cosplaying? Best part, I think, is hanging out with your friends and meeting people that get really excited over your costumes and having spontaneous conversations with strangers because you know that you're into the same thing just by looking at each other. Like, I think that's really amazing. Worst part of cosplay is absolutely shaving. That's it. Worst part, hands down. What is your favorite cosplay project that you've done so far? This is a tricky one. I need to, like, look up my own cosplays on DeviantArt so I can remember what I've done. It's embarrassing. I really liked doing Mello because I cosplayed him when I was in, like, high school, and then I got to do him again this past year, and so I got to not only make everything from scratch, but do, like, a comparison of how much I've improved, and that was really awesome and rewarding. I really like doing Sora, all versions of him. The first one because I was really impressed with how I was able to make his Kingdom Hearts 1 costume. I made that in like 2011 when I had very little sewing experience, and I was still satisfied enough with the craftsmanship that I'm still able to wear it to this day. Granted, you know, I remade the vest and stuff, but I really like the way that I did his wig and just all the versions that I've done of him, including the mermaid tail version. I just really love cosplaying him, and I really like the way that that turned out. I really love cosplaying Jafar because the makeup is outrageous and the costume is outrageous, and it's just so much fun to be like evil, and when people talk to me I can just like glare at them like, "How dare you talk to the royal vizier?" And so that's just a hoot. And I really like cosplaying Alois because I really like the way that I did his jacket. Like, it's the first thing that I was ever satisfied that I like lined entirely the proper way, and it's just fun being like an evil snooty brat, and my girlfriend is very sexy as Claude Faustus, so that makes me happy. One of the costumes that I'm probably most proud of cosplaying is Berkeley Beetle from Thumbelina. My group and I went on stage at AAC for the costume contest, and we won Masters Craftsmanship for our group. Doing that cosplay, figuring everything out, it was really hard, and it took me a really long time to like make everything, and I had a lot of problems with like the makeup, so I'd like to be able to try that again, but aside from that, I'm really happy with how everything turned out. So the most difficult cosplay I've ever done, I mean, Berkeley Beetle, it presented its own challenges. I say probably the most difficult cosplay that I've done for the time that I was making it was Twilight Princess Zelda, because it was the first time I was ever making armor, and I pretty much found out that I needed to make this cosplay like 2 weeks before it needed to be done, so it was under a lot of time constraints. It was like 2012, so I was still somewhat new to sewing. I had like enough experience to make everything and have it turn out okay, but it still presented its own set of challenges, that's for sure. The most difficult thing about cosplay for me, probably either lining cosplays. I really hate lining cosplays. And this might sound kind of weird, but letting go. Because I'm really like picky and critical and anal about my cosplays, and I like never think that they're good enough, and even if I'm satisfied with like every single detail in the cosplay, I will think that my face isn't good enough, like I won't like the way that I'll look in it. And so just learning how to like know when to let go and just have fun in the costume and not look at it so much as a thesis presentation as just like, hey, it's a costume, you're a nerd, chill out, have fun. That's pretty hard for me to do personally. How is it cosplaying as Sailor Uranus? I love cosplaying as Sailor Uranus. I've done like 3 different versions of her, not including, I remade the Fuku, so kind of 4. I love her as a character. I totally like identify with her. I think she's awesome, and it's just like a really fun, empowering cosplay to wear. How much does it normally cost for each costume? Okay, next question. What do you feel when you're cosplaying? Generally sweaty. What was the first convention you've ever been to? Was it a good experience, and who did you cosplay at the time? So like technically the first convention that I went to was like a local college con that like 50 people go to, and it was really small, so I don't really count that one. The first big convention I went to was Anime Boston 2009, and I went alone with my dad, and I cosplayed Edward Elric, and the night before I made an automail arm out of duct tape and cut up soda bottles. I had a really good time, but I was only there for a day, and my dad got really tired walking around, so I was only there from like 10 a.m. to like 4 in the afternoon. We had to go home, but it was still a good time. Definitely, you know, when you're going to your first convention, you just like look at everything that's around you and you're like, oh my god! What is the direction you'd like to see the world of cosplay move in regards to progression or evolving? This is a very interesting question. Well, one of the things that I like right now that I see is like, because people are doing their own YouTube and tutorials more often, more people are learning from each other faster and faster. Like, because of the internet and YouTube, people are starting to kind of become cosplay entrepreneurs. And so more people are actually able to like make money through cosplay while also inspiring and educating the community. And I really like that, and I'd like to see that progress more. Can we expect more Starfighter stuff in the future? I'm going to leave this one a little bit ambiguous, but let's just say discussions have been had, so stay tuned. If you had to choose 3 characters from anything to be in your zombie apocalypse team, who would it be? I would definitely want Jo from Burst Angel, because she's a dead shot and she's awesome, and also extremely attractive, and if we're the last 2 people on Earth, well, let's just say I wouldn't mind it. I feel like having someone from Attack on Titan like Levi with like the maneuver gear would be really useful in a zombie apocalypse, because you could just like swing around and cut a bunch of their heads off and be done with it. And then of course, like, who wouldn't pick Goku for any type of fighting related question to do with anime? Come on, this is amateur stuff. Have you ever had someone tell you that you shouldn't cosplay? I can't really think of anyone, and so if they have, I probably just ignored it, which is the right thing to do. What wig styling products are your favorite? Pretty much like any cosplayer will probably tell you that Got To Be is really good, so the spiking glue and the hairspray, but I also really like Freeze It hairspray, which if you have a CVS near you, you can usually find it there. I find that when it hardens, it doesn't get as tacky as Got To Be, and it has like this really nice kind of champagne-y smell, so I really like that. Why cosplay? Why not cosplay? Dream cosplay? I can't even begin thinking of that. I don't even know. I guess if we're talking in terms of like costume complexity, I would probably want to do either Terra or Ventus from Birth by Sleep in like their full armored version. My first cosplay was actually Rock Lee, and I did him to like a con that we hosted at my school that had like 30 people that went to it, and I used my own hair, and instead of a green jumpsuit, I bought like a matching shirt and sweatpants from Walmart. It actually looked pretty legit considering, and I still had braces. I was very young. Best and worst convention experience. Worst convention, hands down, Katsucon 2014. Big rooms, lots of drama, lots of stress, terrible traveling situation, just all in all, not a good con. It had its moments, but like overall, probably worst convention experience. Best convention experience, Colossal Con 2015. Lots of drinks, lots of partying, fun, relaxing costumes. I got to be a merman. Everything's good. Bless that convention. If you were to choose one thing you excel at in cosplay, wig styling, prop making, costume design, what would it be? I really like prop making. I think that I'm pretty good at sewing, but I'd say that wig styling is probably my forte. How did you choose your cosplay name? Okay, so whenever I would play, like, Pokemon on my Game Boy, I would always give, like, really bizarre random names to my Pokemon, like Deshalik. Weird, random combination of letters that I thought sounded cool. So when I made a new account and I was trying to come up with a new cosplay name, I was like, oh, I always come up with cool name for my Pokemon. Why don't I just look up some of the Pokemon I have and choose a name that I like? Yeah, so I had an Electrike, and I had named him Faxon, and I was like, well, that's short, easy enough to remember, and my name is Max, and so it has like an AX in there. So I just went with that. Who is your cosplay hero? I love Hee from Twins at Cosplay. Her wig styling skills are really amazing. I think that she has a really great sunny personality, and I love her choice in characters and doing all the crazy like makeup and prosthetics and doing really kind of like older characters or ugly characters or creepy characters. I just think it's really fun and I really admire her, and someday I would like to meet her. Love you. What drives you to continue cosplaying? Mostly being very competitive with myself. I always just want to make something better than something that I've made before. And also I'd like to work in movies or the theater industry someday, doing either wig work or makeup stuff or costuming. I really want to expand my skills and knowledge. I'm not going to answer all of these, but like those are the ones that stuck out to me. What conventions are you planning to go to, and are you planning any panels? So this year I'm going to be going to Otakon and Kineticon and AAC. Usually the ones that I go to every year are like Anime Boston, Kineticon, and AAC no matter what, and then the other ones are usually kind of up in the air. I'm not planning any panels right now. Would I like to do panels in the future? Yes. Have I done panels before? Twice. But I don't have any planned right now. If you guys would like me to do like a panel at a convention or whatever, like send me a message. I'd love to hear any ideas that you have on that. If you demand, I will supply. How old were you when you started cosplaying? I want to know because I'm 13 and I'm going to my first con in a few months, and I don't see or hear about many people my age cosplaying. First of all, congratulations on going to your first convention. I hope you have an amazing time. So I started doing like kind of just closet cosplays, which for those of you who don't know are just like cosplays that you literally assemble out of things in your closet, when I was like 15. And then I started doing like actual sewing and stuff when I was like in 10th grade. I definitely know that there are young cosplayers out there. I'm sure that you'll see people your age at the con. That's the wonderful thing about cosplaying, is that it's for people of all ages. So good for you. Okay, so that's all the questions that I have time for today. I hope that it was somewhat entertaining and not totally boring. Fun fact, I've tried to make 2 other FAQ videos before in the past, and the first time my computer got like damaged and I lost everything that I had filmed. This was like 3 years ago. And then like 2 years ago, I made another FAQ video and the audio got messed up. So like the audio kept lagging and lagging and I kept having to like adjust it, and at the end of it, it's just like the video was awful and I just decided not to post it. And then I lost the footage anyway. So it's been a very trying experience. Hopefully 3rd time's the charm, and this video will get to see the light of day. If you're interested in cosplay tutorials or CMVs or anything cosplay related, please check out my channel. I have lots of videos there that I work really hard on. One of my favorite things about cosplaying is being able to like make tutorials to help people with questions that they have, or if they're like really stumped on a part of a cosplay, to have something that will help them through that. So yeah, just spread the knowledge and spread the love and keep cosplaying.